You are working hard every single day. You wake up tired, you go to bed tired, and at the end of all of it, you are exactly where you started. That is not bad luck. That is not the economy. That is a pattern. And patterns have reasons. Most people think hard work is the answer. They have been told this their entire life. Work harder, grind longer, sacrifice more. And so they do. They pour everything they have into effort, into movement, into being busy. And then they wonder why nothing changes. Because here's what nobody tells you. Hard work by itself does not build anything. It just makes you exhausted and convinced you are doing enough. Think about that for a second. You could spend 10 years running in a circle and call it dedication. You could work 60 hours a week and still feel like you are falling behind. The hours do not matter. The effort does not matter. What matters is what you are directing that effort toward. And most people have never actually decided that. They inherited it. They got handed a version of life from their parents, from their school, from whatever culture they grew up in, and they just started moving inside it. They never stopped to ask whether the direction was theirs. They just assumed that if they moved fast enough, something good would eventually happen.
But something good does not just happen. It is built. And you cannot build something if you do not know what it looks like. This is where most people get stuck. Not because they lack ability, not because they lack work ethic. They get stuck because they lack clarity. They are putting in real effort, real time, real sacrifice, but it is going into the wrong thing. Or worse, it is going into nothing at all. It is just going into the act of being busy, because being busy feels like progress. It is not progress, it is a feeling, and feelings are unreliable. There is a deeper reason this happens, and it has nothing to do with laziness. It has to do with how the mind protects itself. When you do not know what you truly want, your brain does something subtle. It fills the empty space with activity. It manufactures urgency. It gives you tasks, obligations, things to respond to. Because a mind with something to do is a mind that does not have to confront the one question it is most afraid of. What am I actually doing with my life? Activity is the easiest way to avoid that question, and most people have been avoiding it for years without ever realizing they are doing it. There is a version of hard work that actually builds a life, and there is a version of hard work that just keeps you running. The difference is not how much you do. The difference is whether you actually know why you are doing it. Most people cannot answer that question, not honestly, not in a way that holds up when you actually examine it. They will say things like, I want to be successful. They will say, I want to be happy. But those are not directions. Those are destinations with no map. You cannot navigate towards something that has no shape.
So what happens is this. You keep working, you keep moving, and every few months you feel this uncomfortable pull, this quiet voice in the back of your mind that says something is wrong, and you ignore it because you are tired and because stopping feels more dangerous than continuing. But ignoring it does not make it go away. It just makes it louder. Here is the uncomfortable truth that most people spend their entire lives avoiding. The reason you feel stuck is not because the world is against you. It is because you have never truly committed to anything. And I do not mean commitment in the way people usually use that word. I do not mean loyalty or persistence. I mean something deeper. I mean the moment where you actually choose something, where you look at your life and say, this is what I am building, and I am willing to let go of everything that does not serve it. Most people never get there. They keep one foot in every direction because they are afraid of being wrong. And that fear, that constant hedging, is exactly what keeps them average. Think about what it costs you to stay undecided. Every day you spend without a clear direction is a day your energy gets scattered. A little bit goes here, a little bit goes there. You're pouring yourself into a dozen small things, and none of them ever become something real. You are not failing because you lack potential. You are failing because you are spreading yourself across too much empty space. The people who actually move forward are not smarter, they are not luckier. They are simply more willing to narrow their focus to the point where it becomes uncomfortable. They choose something and they let it be the only thing that matters for long enough to actually see results. And that requires a kind of internal honesty that most people resist. You have to look at yourself clearly, not the version of yourself you wish you were, not the version other people expect, the actual version, the one that gets distracted, the one that avoids hard conversations, the one that says tomorrow when it means never. That version is not your enemy, but you have to see it, you have to face it, because you cannot change something you refuse to acknowledge. And this is where the real work begins, not in the doing, in the seeing. Once you actually see yourself clearly and without excuses, something shifts. The noise gets quieter, the scattered energy starts to collect, and for the first time, the work you do starts to mean something, not because it changed, but because you finally gave it a reason to exist.
This is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes like weather. Some days it shows up. Most days it does not. Waiting for motivation to strike before you act is like waiting for the wind to push your car. It is not coming. What you actually need is not a surge of feeling. It is a decision. A single, quiet, uncomfortable decision to move toward the thing you chose, regardless of how you feel about it on any given day. That is what discipline actually is. It is not willpower. It is a commitment that exists even when the emotion behind it has disappeared. The people who are truly building something are not the loudest ones. They are not the ones posting about their grind. They are the ones who found something worth building and got quiet about it. They stopped performing effort and started investing it. There is a difference. Performing effort is for other people. Investing it is for the thing itself. And that thing, whatever it is for you, does not care how tired you are. It does not care about your past. It only cares about what you do next. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready. Right now, in this exact moment. Because every moment you spend waiting is a moment the thing you are supposed to build sits in silence, waiting for you to begin. You have been working hard your whole life. The question was never whether you could put in the hours. The question was whether you ever stopped long enough to ask what those hours were actually for. And if you have not, then this is the moment you start.